Welcome back to Ancient Mysteries Uncovered, where we dive deep into the legends and stories that shaped our world. Today, we're uncovering the real story behind one of history's most famous conflicts, the Trojan War. Was it merely a myth spun by ancient poets, or did it have roots in real historical events? Stick around as we unravel the enigma of Troy, its heroes, and the epic tale of love, betrayal, and war. Our journey begins in the late Bronze Age, around the 12th century BCE, a time when the Mycenaean Greeks were at their peak. This era set the stage for the legendary conflict described in Homer's epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey. But how much of these tales is based on true events, and how much is pure fiction? Were these stories simply the creative musings of ancient poets, or do they hold kernels of historical truth waiting to be uncovered? To answer this, we need to explore the sources of the Trojan War myth. The primary source, of course, is Homer's Iliad, which tells the story of the last year of the 10-year siege of Troy. But there's more to the story than just Homer's words. Other ancient texts and archaeological evidence also contribute to our understanding, revealing a richer and more complex narrative behind the legendary war. Historian: the Iliad and the Odyssey were composed in the 8th century BCE, long after the supposed events of the Trojan War. These epics were part of a larger oral tradition, and they likely combined historical memories with mythological elements. Other sources, like the Epic Cycle, a series of ancient Greek epic poems, also contributed to our understanding of the Trojan War, adding additional layers of myth and legend to the historical core of the story. The war itself was sparked by the abduction of Helen, the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta, by Paris, the Prince of Troy. According to legend, this act led to a coalition of Greek city-states launching an expedition to retrieve her, resulting in a decade-long conflict. But was there really a Helen of Troy? And did such a war actually happen? These questions linger, urging us to investigate the blend of myth and possible historical truth behind the tale. Archaeologist: the site of ancient Troy, located in modern-day Turkey, has been excavated since the 19th century. Archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann famously identified the site as Troy, uncovering layers of a city that existed from the early Bronze Age through to Roman times. The layers corresponding to the late Bronze Age reveal evidence of a city destroyed by war, lending some credence to the idea that there was a historical basis for the legend. Subsequent excavations have further validated Schliemann's findings, revealing complex fortifications, remnants of buildings, and artifacts that suggest a significant and vibrant city met a violent end. Schliemann's discoveries were groundbreaking, but they also sparked controversy. His methods were often destructive, and his identification of certain artifacts, like Priam's treasure, has been questioned. Nevertheless, subsequent excavations have supported the existence of a significant city at the site, which was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. These findings reinforce the idea that Troy was a major urban center with a tumultuous history marked by conflict and reconstruction. Historian: the question remains, who were the Greeks and Trojans? The Mycenaeans were a powerful civilization, with a network of palatial states across mainland Greece. They were known for their military prowess, complex societies, and advanced engineering. The Trojans, on the other hand, were a part of the Hittite Empire, which was a major power in the ancient Near East. This connection suggests that the conflict might have been part of broader geopolitical struggles in the region, involving significant powers of the time. The Hittite records, discovered in the early 20th century, provide additional context. They mention a city called Wilusa, believed to be the Hittite name for Troy, and a people called the Ahiawa, thought to be the Mycenaeans. These records describe conflicts and diplomatic relations that resemble the events described in the Greek myths, lending credibility to the idea that the Trojan War may have roots in actual historical events and geopolitical dynamics. Expert: the logistics of a 10-year siege are daunting, but not impossible for the time. The Mycenaeans had the naval capabilities to launch such an expedition, and the strategic importance of Troy, controlling access to the Dardanelles, would have made it a valuable target. The war could have been a series of raids and battles over many years, rather than a single protracted siege. This approach would align with the logistical and tactical realities of Bronze Age warfare, making the legendary conflict more plausible. The key figures of the Trojan War, Achilles, Hector, Odysseus, and Agamemnon, are larger-than-life characters, but their stories may have been inspired by real individuals. Achilles, the greatest Greek warrior, was said to be invulnerable except for his heel. Hector, the noble Trojan prince, and his wife Andromache symbolize the tragedy of war. These characters reflect the virtues and flaws admired and critiqued by ancient Greek society, blending myth and possible historical roots. Historian. These heroes embody the virtues and flaws admired and critiqued by ancient Greek society. Achilles' rage and eventual tragic fate, Hector's valor and sense of duty, and Odysseus' cunning and resourcefulness reflect the complex human experience. Their stories, though likely embellished, resonate with universal themes of honor, sacrifice, and the human cost of conflict. One of the most enduring images of the Trojan War is the Trojan Horse, a cunning ploy that led to the fall of Troy. The Greeks supposedly constructed a massive wooden horse, hid soldiers inside, and tricked the Trojans into bringing it within their walls. At night, the Greek soldiers emerged, opened the gates, and allowed their army to enter and destroy the city. Expert. The Trojan horse is a powerful symbol of deception and ingenuity. While the literal existence of a giant wooden horse is debated, it could represent a siege engine or a covert operation that allowed the Greeks to breach Troy's defenses. The story emphasizes the themes of cleverness and surprise which were valued in ancient warfare. The fall of Troy marked the end of the war, but the aftermath was equally dramatic. The surviving Trojans, including Aeneas, were said to have fled and eventually founded the Roman people, linking Greek and Roman mythology. The returning Greek heroes faced their own trials, as chronicled in the Odyssey and other epics. Historian. The legend of the Trojan War has had a profound impact on Western literature and culture. It influenced ancient Greek identity and provided a rich source of material for later writers, artists, and historians. The themes of heroism, fate, and the wrath of the gods continue to resonate today. So, what can we conclude about the real story behind the Trojan War? While it's clear that many elements of the tale are mythological, there is evidence to suggest that it was inspired by real events. The archaeological findings at Troy, the Hittite records, and the enduring legacy of the story all point to a historical basis for this legendary conflict. The Trojan War remains a captivating blend of history and myth, a story that has fascinated humanity for millennia. Its heroes and villains, love and betrayal, and the timeless struggle for power and glory continue to inspire us. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the mysteries of our ancient past. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of history. This is Ancient Mysteries Uncovered, signing off.